All right, this is a short review talking about tangents and secants. Remember that a tangent is a segment in a circle that touches the circle at the very edge, makes a right angle with a radius if it's drawn toward that point where it touches the circle. A secant is a line that goes through the circle, contains a chord, goes in two spots here. And there's there's one relationship and two formulas we need to know for these review questions. One relationship is if you have two tangents coming to the outside point, meeting at an outside point, those lengths are going to be equal. So that's one relationship. Another relationship is if you have a tangent meeting a secant at a certain point, then the length of the tangent squared is equal to the outside of the secant times the whole length of the secant. So if you add the A and the B, that's that relationship. Then a third relationship is if you have two secants meeting at a point outside. Let me just put some letters here, A, B, C, and D. Then the outsides of the secant, so like A multiplied by the total secant, so A plus B, is going to be equal to the same relationship on the other one. So it's going to be C times C plus D. So kind of three things to think about here as we go through these questions. We only have 4 of them. So try the question, pause it, and then you can unpause it and see how I answer it and go back and redo it if you need to. All right, first question. We have a circle inside of a triangle. Whole bunch of lengths here, and our goal is to find what is the length of AC. AC is the length from here all the way to here. So in order to do that, I need to know what is this length and what is that length here. It's going to be split up into 2 different lengths from that point. Fortunately, we can get that pretty easily because we know that this length here, because these 2 tangents meet at the same point, C, we know those 2 are equal. So I know from C to P, that's going to be 10. Now I don't have Q to A, but here's something I do know. I know that this is going to be 8 down here from B to Q. And because I know from B to A is 20, I can subtract 8 from 20 to get A to Q. So that's going to be 12. 8 plus 12 is 20, which means P to A is going to be 12. So that means C to A to C is the sum of those 2 lengths. 22. 22. All right, next question. All right, let's make this bigger. In circle A, what is the length of the diameter, WY, or XW, excuse me. WY is way out here. Well, we're going to use that secant relationship that we talked about. So we will say the tangent secant relationship. So the tangent is the segment that only touches the outside of the circle. That's your tangent. So it's going to be 15 squared. And then we're going to set it equal to the outside part, which is 9, multiplied by the whole thing. Well, the whole thing, the diameter, we're trying to find the diameter. Diameter is from X to W. So we'll just call that D, okay? So it's going to be 9 plus D for that whole segment length, 9 plus D. So notice the 9 got repeated because it's part of the whole length, but it's also the outside. So 15 squared, you can check that. That's 225. Then 9 times 9, if you distribute, is 81. You know how to check that. So it's going to be 225 is equal to 81 plus 9 times d. 225 equals 81 plus 90. All right, let's solve. Well, this is just 2 steps, minus the 81 and then divide by the 9. So 225 minus 81 should be 144. And then we're going to divide by 9. So 144 divided by 9 is 16. So you can see that progression, square the 15 minus the 81, divide by 9, and you're going to get 16. So the diameter's length is 16. Since it wants to know the diameter, that's 16. If it asks for the radius, just cut it in half and you'd say 8. So the radius is actually 8. And remember that you recall from the lesson, you could have also made a right angle there and did Pythagorean theorem. But in my opinion, that's a little bit more work for that. So I encourage you to just use the tangent squared formula because that's just less steps. So you're going to get 16 for your answer for your diameter. All right, next question. All right, this is going to be the same type of question. Notice that it's not a diameter, but it's the same relationship. It's the secant squared equals the outer times the tangent squared equals the outer times the whole. So your tangent in this case is out here. It's the unknown. That's what we're trying to find. So your tangent is going to be the x value. So we will say x squared equals the outer from the secant, which is 16. That's outside of the circle. So 16 times the whole, which is 9 plus 16. So 9 plus 16 is 25. So x squared equals 16 times 25. That I don't know. So let's check that out in the calculator. That's 400. X squared equals 400. So the square root of 400 is going to get your answer as 20. Check that in a calculator if you'd like. The square root, you can do SQRT or pull this up here and hit the square root button. Either way. And 20 is your answer. So 20 is the answer to this question because it just wants to know x. 20 and it's long. All right, one more question. This will be the last one for the review, and then you are in good shape to take the test if you understand these questions. If you don't, go back and rewatch this video as many times as you need, go over the lessons, redo the quizzes, whatever you need. Let's click this question. All right, this is the secant squared relationship. I want to know what's the value of x. So our purpose here is to find the outsides and the holes and set up an equation. So the outside here is going to be 8. That's outside. And then the outside here is going to be 9. So think about the equations. 8 is the outside. The whole thing is those two added together. So 8 plus x minus 9, or x minus 9 plus 8. That's the one side of the equation. The other side would be those two added together. Let me color code that. So the whole thing here would be, so the outside is going to be 9. And then it's going to be x minus 12 plus 9 to add those together. That is your equation. And we can clean that up a little bit. Negative 9 and 8, that's going to be negative 1. So it's going to be 8 parentheses x minus 1. And then this will be 9 parentheses negative 12 and 9. That's negative 3. Again, distribute. So 8x minus 8 will be equal to 9x minus 27. And then we'll get our x's to one side. So take the 8x away. And that's 1x. So we have negative 8 is equal to x minus 27. Finally, add the 27 to solve for x. And 27 and negative 8, 27 minus 8, 27 minus 7 is 20, so minus another one is 19. So x should be 19 in this problem. And if you want to go back and kind of calculate that, 19 minus 9, that's going to give you 10. 19 minus 12, that's going to be 7. And if you do a little bit of math there, 8 times 8 plus 10, that should equal 9 times 9 plus 7. And that's going to be 8 times 80 equals 9 times 16. Those should be equivalent. All right, so your answer is 19. And that's it. Thanks for watching.